Okay, so first podcast or a talk show or whatever this is. And we have Jayanth Reddy here. So, what's up, Jayanth? How
Hi,
are you?
Suraj.
Hi.
I'm good. I'm good. How are you? How have you been? How's your day so far?
I'm fantastic, dude. I'm fantastic. So, yeah, me and Jayanth were talking right now for approximately 15 minutes where we had to get all the settings right. And what Jayanth did not know was it was already recording. It was
Okay,
already
that's fine as
recording.
well.
So the
No,
three
that's
three
fine.
to one really did not make any sense for me. That was for
Right.
you.
Okay. So it
Okay.
didn't make a lot of difference, right? But it's fine. Yeah, we can go ahead.
Yeah. So
Alright.
so here Jayant is another childhood friend of mine. We studied in Chinmay Vidyalaya together since seventh grade, right?
Actually, we've been in the same school since like fifth grade, and then we've like when you moved to Delhi and all,
Uh huh.
we've parted our ways like for 2 years or
No,
something, and
but
then you came back for like 4 years, right?
I went to Delhi for 2 years, and then I
Yeah,
came back.
exactly. Yeah, so
But we,
that's
we
what.
really got to know each other during seventh
Yeah,
grade.
yeah. Sorry. So like fifth, I was in Chinmaya, but then like I was kind of the shy kid,
Okay,
you could
I'm not
say.
going to lie. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. No
My
one knew
bad.
that, right? No one knew that, but that's fine. Like people didn't know me in Chinmaya that well. Okay, like during the fifth and sixth grade, so,
Yeah.
like they started getting to know me like during my seventh or like afterwards. Probably you can say like ninth or tenth was like the better life. But then
Yeah.
you weren't there in ninth or tenth.
I
You were
wasn't
there in
there.
Delhi, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So I think you came back again in 11th, right?
Yeah, I came back in
During your
11th.
11th grade. Yeah.
Since then, I've
Yeah.
been here. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's right.
I knew you since seventh grade personally. So, tell me
Hmm.
about the childhood Jayanth from a young
Okay.
age.
So,
I don't know anything about
okay.
that Jayanth.
All right. All right. I'll give you a list. Okay. So, let's say, let's start with first grade. Okay. Because the previous part is like not useful to anyone, right?
Got
So,
it.
let's just start with like first grade. So, first grade, we was like, first grade to fifth grade, it was the same way. Okay. So, there was
Mm-hmm.
no difference. My mindset was I work hard, I make, like I get good scores, and my life's sorted.
Wait,
So I've been fed with that same
this is you in
mentality.
first grade?
Yeah, this is me in like first to fifth grade. Okay, so I had
What?
no notion of fun. Yeah,
What kind of
eh,
kid would be?
okay, wait. No, listen to
Damn,
me.
Jayant.
So my parents. No, no, no. Wait. So this is how it goes. Okay, so like Desi parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're always into like getting their kids the better life and all. Like,
Very
yeah, I'm
true.
not against it, and everything, but then their process could be somewhat, like disputable, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
because like not everyone uses the same conventional method and gets to their successful point, and
True.
that's what happened to me. Right? So first to fifth was like get good marks, and then it was just like parents would say these 5 years you work hard and then the next 3 4 years you'll sort it and all. First to fifth was something like that. Okay, so I wanted to move out of my school at that point, and I was studying in a state school. Okay, like state
Okay.
board. That is the worst kind of
Which school?
what do you the curriculum. It's called All Saints High School. Okay,
Okay. Was that in
and there are
Hyderabad?
no saints in that school. Yeah, yeah, it's in Hyderabad.
Okay.
It was in Abins.
Okay.
Uh, it's not really a school that anyone would send their child to, like All Saints, obviously, right?
Got
But
it.
then that was the same thing with Chinmaya as well, because like too much
I
all of
feel
that
you.
pujari stuff, yeah. So that's how it went. Okay, in All Saints it was all like the Christian life, because the school was run by a Christian missionary and all.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it went. The first to fifth me was like a regular kid. I didn't have much of a life.
Okay, let me
I
just tell
didn't
you.
play a lot.
Let me just tell you, a regular kid is not like, I want
Yeah,
to
okay,
study
okay. Yeah,
and
yeah, I
get
get
better
that.
in
I get that.
life. At least I was
Yeah.
not like that. I was
No,
like,
no, no. Wait,
let's just
wait.
chill
So
the
that
fuck
was like
out.
one part. Yeah, I get that. So that was like one part. Okay. The rest part was like, okay. So I'll tell you my routine during my first fifth grade. So probably this was my routine till like sixth grade or seventh grade. I'm not sure. But like this is how it went. I'd wake up, I'd get ready. I used to go to school. School, whatever happens, happens in the school. And then I used to come back. we used to live in an apartment back then. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we used to like play around, like we used to play cricket. You know, all of those gully cricket rules and all.
Yeah,
So we used to
yeah.
do all of that shit for like the 7 years, like first to seventh grade. It was all like that. Like that was
Got
my
it.
routine. There was no change in my routine for the first 7 years of my life. And then seventh grade, like I had a small turnover point, I'd say, because I moved to a CBSE school, right? So CBSE school was like, where people would interact with each other even after school's done. And that's when the whole, social media started getting upward trend. So Facebook and all started at that point, for
Mm-hmm.
me at least. Like, it was there. We know, like,
Yes, I
Facebook
know.
was
You were
started in
pretty.
98 and all. Yeah.
You were
Yeah,
involved
I
in it.
was like, yeah. So, in seventh grade, I was kind of into all of the social media aspect of my life. So that was
Kinda.
like the turning point of it.
Would you say
Yeah,
kinda?
like wait. Yeah, wait. The next part comes 1 year later. Okay. So seventh grade was all over the net, like like the teenage age, right? So like I just moved into the teenage, and things started changing for me. So at this point,
What do you
my
mean? Do you
mind was
mean do
like,
you mean puberty?
no, I don't mean puberty. Puberty hit me in like ninth grade. Okay. So coming back to seventh grade.
Oh my god. Okay.
So the seventh grade was like I used to go online, and then evenings, the whole cricket time period was
Mm-hmm.
changed to social media time period, right?
Okay.
So it was kind of happening for me, I'd say. Like that was the time when I started clicking pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a lot of hate for that initially. Like
They were
my
amazing though.
dad had got me. Now, right? The
Then
initial
also.
stages,
Then
everyone's bad.
also.
Yeah. Okay, if you say so, but I feel
I,
that it
I,
was
I
kind
used
of crap.
your pictures as my DPs, if you remember.
That was later. That was not during seventh grade. Seventh grade was so bad. I'm
Yeah,
not even
probably
kidding.
not in
It was like,
seventh.
yeah, seventh grade. You moved. Like you weren't in Hyderabad by the time you started using my pictures and
Yes.
your
Yes,
pictures and all.
that's true.
So what happened was during seventh grade, I was like, okay, everyone's getting a camera and everyone's trying this shit out. Like, why shouldn't I try it out? So I asked my dad. My dad was like, "Fuck you! We don't have that kind of money to spend on a camera and all. I'm not getting your camera."
Got
So I
it.
was like, okay, cool. What do I do now? And then he was like, cool, I have a phone. And at that point, Note 2 was like the happening phone. Like Samsung had its craze at that point. Okay. So my dad had a Note 2, and I was like, cool, I'm going to use this and I'm going to click nice photos. And you know what my first thought for a picture was? You know, all of those beginner level flower photos people click? They
Yes.
just take a flower and they click from a side angle or like some angle, right?
Got it,
So
yeah.
all of that shit happened, and then I got a lot of hate for that because people already knew others. Like we were all close to our seniors more than our particular class, right?
True.
So that's what happened, and then all of my seniors started trolling me. Okay, so it went like, "What kind of photos are those?" Like they were just legit insulting me.
I know.
And like, yeah, and I was like, okay, this is not happening, but I like what I do. Okay, like it was giving me a passionate kind of feeling. I was like, cool, I'm gonna try. Like, why should I listen to them? I would try whatever I want to try. So I tried it out, and at one point, I met one of our seniors, Jagannath. Right. So that guy moved to US now. He's studying in Carnegie Mellon,
Yes, I know.
and that guy is like a really nice photographer. Like I admire his work. Like since the beginning of time, we were really good friends, and we were also like kind of professionally well connected. So I really liked his work, and I was like, how do I improve my photography game? He's like, watch YouTube videos, and that's when I got introduced to YouTube. Okay, so
Got
until
it.
that point, I didn't know what YouTube was, and YouTube wasn't like what it is right now,
I
right?
know. It was not the thing then.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, people had something, and people weren't blogging at that point and telling what they wanted. Right?
Probably not in our area at least.
Yeah, not in our area.
Yeah.
I didn't know what YouTube was at that point. Okay, YouTube for me, I think really started in when we moved to ninth grade or 10th grade, and that too because we wouldn't understand certain concepts. All right, so I was in Fiji during my ninth and 10th grade. That was like the
Okay.
evening classes where you go for like 3 hours. learn the 11th and 12th portion and come back and think that it's some IIT coaching with like high level shit and all. You just learn the 11th and 12th portion earlier. Okay. So that's what Fiji was. And at that point, I was like, cool, I'm not understanding certain concepts. And I was like, cool, let's just use YouTube. Like, probably someone
Got
might
it.
be there trying to teach what the thing is, right? So all of that happened. And then YouTube was introduced to me at that point. So from 7th to 9th grade, it was just like me on social media. I don't know how. It was a big hype at that point, and like everyone was getting popular and all. So that just came to my mind, and I was like, cool, we have to do something and get popular, right? Because I like the fame and all. I was a very outgoing person back then. I am not
Got
now,
it.
but I'm
You
I'm
probably
still an
are,
outgoing
but
person.
right now,
Yeah, but
because
like
of
I'm
Corona,
restrictive.
everyone is
Yeah, we could
restricted.
say. Yeah, yeah. So that's what happened, and then I was like, cool, I'm gonna learn some more, and I moved to YouTube. And 7th to 9th grade, I was still trying to click those, like uniquely ugly flower pictures, I'd say. And then YouTube started giving me like small kind of information where, at that point, mobile photography wasn't the thing either.
Yeah,
Everyone who had a DSLR was the thing. So
true.
mobile photography, no, you're useless. So I was like slowly starting to understand what the whole thing was about, like with photography. Just give me a second. Sorry, that's my sister.
That's okay.
All right. Yeah. So at that point, I was like, cool. I'm starting to learn a little bit of mobile photography, understanding what exposure, aperture, and all of those things were. And I started trying out things with a rented camera. So like I had this cousin of mine whose mom used to give me like a 500 or 600 bucks every single time she came into Hyderabad. They
Okay.
live in a town called Nandyal. That's somewhere in AP. Okay.
Okay.
So whenever she came around, and then she used to just give me like 500 or 600. I used to save it up. I used to give it to my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Mom being my mom, she used to spend it all. So I don't know how many times they gave me those 500 and how many times I've never asked for it.
True, man.
And
True.
after some point, I was like, cool, I need some money. I need to start trying things out. And I was like, cool, I'm going to ask her for some money. So I go to my mom and I'm like, cool. So all of this period, our cousin's mom came and gave you some money, right? Like she gave it to me and then I came and gave it back to you. Where is all that money? She gave me a simple statement. She was like, I used it all. I'm like, okay, but now what do? I need that money. And then she's like, how much do you need? So at that point, hiring a DSLR was a very expensive job. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
At least for a ninth grade kid or like an eighth grade kid who didn't have any pocket money, it was very expensive.
Got it.
So I was like, I think I need about 800 bucks. Okay. So my mom was like, why do you need 800? Like, what are you planning to do? Are you planning to blow up the entire planet or something? So my mom's like really paranoid, a little bit. Okay. And at that point, when I told her I want to try out photography, and then she was like, why are you wasting your time? Like, focus on IIT and all of that. And I was like, cool, we'll work that out. Like, don't worry, we'll do something about that. But I want to try out photography. And then my mom was like, okay, fine, I'll give you like 500. I'm a little short on cash. I'm like, you're not short on cash. You're never short on cash. You just give me whatever I owe. And then she was like, cool. And then she gave me the 800 bucks. And then I got my first rented camera and I tried out a couple of things. At that point, I realized, okay, cool. Actually, there is a difference between, mobile photography and what do we say, the DSLR photography.
DSLR. Yes.
So I was like, cool. I like this part more than the mobile photography one. Except I don't have clients. I don't have any kind of money to hire a camera and try out things to build a client portfolio or like a client profile. I don't have a portfolio for myself to prove to someone that I'm worth something so that they can invest in me to get the
True.
camera.
True.
So all of this was like going downwards for me. And I was like, cool, I need to do something. And at that point, like our school was hosting farewells inside the school,
Yes.
which was
Yes.
really pathetic. Yeah.
in
And
the in the
remember,
badminton
yeah, the
courts.
nine, yeah, the badminton court, that small area, and then we
I was in
travel.
there. I was
And,
in there.
yeah, so you were lucky, okay? You were actually lucky. To be honest, I've never had a farewell in my life, and the only farewell I had was in Chinmaya. Okay, so
Got it.
7th to 10th was in Chinmaya, right? So 10th grade, I got a farewell. And it was the most 30th farewell I've ever got.
Okay.
Like kudos to the effort for my juniors.
By the way, that was
Uh,
the pictures which I saw. They were good. So I was assuming you guys had a lot of fun.
No, there was okay, fine. So Chinmaya farewells go like this. Okay, it's like a talk show where you get bored for 4 hours, and the 1 hour where you have fun, you get pictures. That's it. It's like the only thing that happens in the farewell.
That's
So
sad, man.
at this point, yeah, it's very sad. So in ninth grade, we had to host it for our seniors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, I will click photos for them, and I need some money. This is the only way where I could, like click a couple of pictures, have some good ones, edit them, and make a portfolio for myself, like
Got
build
it.
myself. Uh, my mom was like, "Why do you want to do it so bad?" I'm like, "I'm passionate about it. Like, why shouldn't I do it so bad?" And then she was like, "Cool, whatever. Some crazy kid. I don't know what is wrong with this guy. He's gonna fail in life. I'll give him his 800. Let him know it for himself." And I took that 800. I took a camera for rent again, and then I started clicking pictures for our farewell, and that turned out to be a huge hit, right? So that was really nice, and that was like my starting point for photography at that point.
Got it.
And from there, I moved to clicking pictures. Oh, okay, so I had a lot of friends from other schools, and that was like a pride point at that point. Like I don't know, it was just like a flex, a weird flex, I'd say. Like I had a lot of friends from Geetanjali, and all of them were kind of rich, I'd say, and they
Mm-hmm.
had like really nice 16 birthday parties. So I shot for all of those birthday parties as well. And
Okay.
shooting for those birthday parties got me a lot of clients who are related to them in some way. Okay, like they know them or they've been following them on Instagram or whatever. And like that way, I've gotten a lot of contracts.
Got it.
So during my ninth and 10th grade, I think my first year's earnings was 20,000
That's a
during my
lot.
10th grade or something.
During
Yeah, like
ninth,
during the 10th grade.
yeah.
Yeah,
What were you?
yeah,
What
that's a
was your
lot,
age
right?
then?
I was 16
At
during 10th grade.
16-year-old earning
Yeah,
20K.
yeah.
I
At
mean,
that point, with like
people
the
now
kind
are
of
struggling to earn that.
opportunities we had. Yeah, so it was, I'd say, somewhat beginner's luck, and opportunities came along. I took in every opportunity, right?
Very true.
So my mom started realizing that, you have to try out things in order to earn something. You have to start somewhere. And she was like, cool, so we'll get you a camera. But then you need to pitch in for 50% because you earned 20K. At that
Got
point,
it.
the camera costed me about like 35K or something. So I put in all 20 and I got a new camera. That was
Got
like
it.
a basic camera. It was a D5100. It was mediocre, I'd say. And then from there on, I started cleaning pictures for others and all. And so there is this funny story, all right. During my 11th grade, I was shipped off to a boarding SSC college, like intermediate,
Where was
right?
this?
There's this college called Excellencia, okay? So
Oh,
it's
I know Excellencia.
yeah,
I know
yeah, right.
Excellencia, dude.
So
I have
yeah,
friends from there.
so I was that is kind of sad, but okay. I don't know, like probably they're nice people and all. Yeah, but like wherever I went, my batch was the first batch. Like
I
the
know.
college was just established, and my batch was the first batch. And I was a very outgoing kid in terms of notoriousness or like, you know, I think having a girlfriend was illegal back in 10th grade or 11th grade.
It was never
So that was
illegal.
a
It was never
no,
illegal.
like in parents' point
So
of view, it was like a huge
society
mistake.
made it illegal.
Yeah, so like that was a big problem at that point for me. And my then girlfriend was very tight with me. Okay, so when we moved, like when I moved to Excellence and all, it was being a really big problem because we weren't allowed with phones. We weren't allowed to call our parents at least once a week. What did I call her for? Right.
Got
So
it.
all of this problem happened, and then I messed up a little bit in between and all. By the end of the year, I wanted to get out of the college, and at this point, I was like, IIT is not meant for me, and I
Mm-hmm.
am not meant for IIT. Obviously, like with the kind of things I have on my mind, I am not meant for IIT. I can't do IIT. And then I fought with my mom and dad for like 1.5 months or 2 months, telling them that IIT is not my thing. I don't want to get into an IIT college or whatever. I don't have any interest in studying in India. I want to move out of the country. So later on, I gave my SATs somehow. I
Okay.
managed to give them. They were so against them. They were like, no, we're not going to pay for them. And then the SAT college, like examination fee was itself so high. It was like 11K at that point, like to give
True.
it once.
True.
And who knows, like, whether you'd actually get it in the first go or not. But luckily, I worked hard enough for that, and then I got a 1520 out of 1600 in my SATs, and I got into one of the best
I
colleges
don't
in
know
the world.
about SAT scores because I paid for it, but I did not write it because I got a clarity that I am not going to go.
Right.
So I don't know if that's a good score or not. So you have to educate me on
Okay,
it.
1520 out of 16. Okay, so the score comes in increments of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you get a 1520 out of 1600, you get into the world's best colleges, most
Okay.
probably. Probably not MIT, but you'd get into Harvard and all such colleges.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. Like, I got into Stanford and I got into Harvard.
That's
So that
awesome.
was like a really big boost for me, right? And my parents, I didn't tell them at that point. Yeah, so that was like the stupidest thing I did. I was like, okay, cool, these guys don't want to send me anyway. Like, why should I tell them? That was very stupid of me. Like, why would I do that? No, like,
I'm
when I
pretty
think about
sure.
it,
I'm
I'm like,
pretty sure
why?
they would have sent you the moment you would have told them.
No, okay, so there was another problem with that. At that moment, I knew we couldn't afford that. Okay, so
Okay.
college at, I mean, like bachelor's at HBS, and I mean, sorry, Howard undergrad and all costs about 3 crore rupees for all 4 years,
Okay.
including your accommodation, your tuition, and everything. I didn't have that kind of money. I knew my parents didn't for sure.
Okay.
So I was like, what good would this do for any of us? Like, probably they'd feel happy for a day, but then they'd also feel sad that they can't afford all of this education, although it's the world's best.
Got it.
And I was like, probably not a good idea to tell them anyway, right? So all of this happened, and during my 12th, okay, wait. So 11th, all of this happened, right? And the girlfriend scene. So uh, I think my girlfriend came to meet me at college, and then I got chucked out of college. They just stuck me out. They were like, no, we don't need you here. You're spoiling all other kids. So I'm like, cool. If having a girlfriend spoils other kids, I don't know what you're teaching at your college. I'd rather
Okay,
leave.
that's an important point
I
to
left.
remember.
Yeah, so I left. Right? That's what I told you. It was treated illegal.
I
Right?
know, I know.
Like, why? It was just a person that I like had trust in, wanted to share stuff. So all of this happened, and then they shut me out of college, and I was like, cool. Now I don't have a college, and I was due to give my boards yet. My boards weren't done.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, I did something, and I gave my boards. I got like a 95%, and they were like, "Could you please come back?" So I was in the top five of college, I guess, at that point. And then I was like, "How about a no?" And you shove your offer right up your ass. So I did that, and I walked out. Like, I didn't do that, obviously. My dad did
I
that
know, I know,
because
I
my
know.
dad
Got
asked
it.
him. Yeah, like it was a really big problem for them, okay, because they were like really stressed out. Like, what is this kid doing? First, he wants to do photography, now he's dating someone, and like his life is over because he wants to not go to IIT. So all this happened, and then I was like, okay, I need to do something about this. And the boards, I studied really hard for them, considering they were state boards. They're pretty easy, okay, compared to the IIT coaching that you receive at college and all. So I aced them, and they were like, "Could you please come back to college? We'll give you an offer. We'll do something about it. But then you have to be well behaved." My dad got really pissed at that point. He was like, "Screw you, we're not coming back."
Makes
Now
sense.
I don't have a college. I am in the middle of my intermediate where no one would leave a college in the first place. Like, you just do it like one course. Right. So all of this was going on, and my mom was taunting me for the next 3 months after this happened because it was summer vacation. And summer vacation, I didn't study. I didn't have a college to go to. And my mom was really scared. Like, what would this guy end up like and all? And I was like, cool. So what we'll do is, I had a contact at my Fiji Safarabad branch where I was during my ninth and 10th grade. I was going for that coaching classes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had a really nice connection with one of my chemistry teachers. So I was like, let's go ask that guy. That guy might help us out. So I went to him. I was like, sir, I quit my college because they were serving me really shitty food, and I really didn't like their education system as well. So I was like, cool. Fiji is the same. What difference will it make for you? And then I was
Did he
like, Fiji,
actually
I've
say
known
that?
here, I've known people. Yeah, obviously, right? Because it's all SAC colleges trying to teach you, like train you for IITs. And that guy had a really good connection with me. Like, you know how we had a good connection with Vijayalakshmi ma'am and all of them during our school? Like, I had a really good connection with her. So we
I
were like
wasn't
really
there.
tight. Yeah, you were in there. So like some teacher you have really good
Got
connection
it.
with, you're really
Got it.
fair enough to talk shit about. So he was like, yeah, how would this make any difference? And I was like, it might. Like, why don't I try it? Like, I've tried it there and it's just like 1 year left. Why don't I try it here? It was like, cool. I'll talk to the Narayana Gura branch guy. And he spoke to that guy and I got an admission, which is really hard. Usually people don't get into Narayanguda without like writing their exam or on a merit basis. But then
Mm-hmm.
this guy somehow did it for me and I'm really grateful for that guy. So like Narayanguda gave me a new approach on how Indian system might work. Because in Fiji, it's not like they rub shit on you. They teach you whatever you need to know, and they'll be like, if you want to learn and become successful, you'll do this. So go on this, you won't do this. Like, I'm not going to force anything
I
on
think
you.
that's
That was
college.
Fiji, right?
That's college too.
Yeah. No, no. Okay, wait. Excellentia is like Narayana and Chaitanya. Okay, they're rub shit on you. They're going to go like, cool. If you don't want to learn, you're still supposed to learn. So that's how Excellentia was.
No, I
And
mean
I didn't like
Fiji
that
is
because,
like college for us now,
yeah,
or
yeah,
how
that's how
college
college is.
was.
Yes, yes.
They don't give
Yeah,
a
yeah,
fuck
that's true.
even
That's
if you. It's up to you. You
yeah.
if you want, you read. If not, I don't care.
What you do and then you do whatever you want. Right?
Exactly.
So Fiji was like that, and I had a lot of freedom. So during this period, like during my 11th and 12th, I was really into model UNs.
Mm-hmm.
It was the thing at that point,
I
and
know. I
I
know.
attended I attended my first model UN during my 10th grade. Okay,
What was
so
it?
during my 10th
Which one
grade,
was it?
it was Obel Reddy School's model UN. It was called
Okay.
Popsman then.
Okay.
I think it's still called Popsman. I don't know if they still host it or not. So I attended. That was my first MUN, right? I attended that MUN, and I was a photographer for them because
Mm-hmm.
obviously I don't know how to debate for shit at that point. I think I'm pretty good at it right now. So
We could say
I was
that.
like, cool. Yeah. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna try photography. They had this thing called international press. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I was super attracted to that thing, like because it had the word international in it for the first thing. And then the second part was it was called a model United Nations, right?
Got
So I
it.
was like, cool, this is gonna be something really nice. And I attended that and there was this girl called Vidhi Malpani.
Mm-hmm.
And then this woman knew that I click really good photos at that point. And she came up to me and then she's like, are you Jayanth? And I'm like, yeah. Did I do something wrong? And then she's like, no, I know your photography page and all. And she actually stopped the session in between and then she was like, there is a legend right here in our session at this point, and that's Jayanth. And he clicks really amazing photos. So, like, everyone get a photo from him. It is going to be your
That's
Facebook DP at
awesome.
some point in your life. Yeah, so I was like super pumped at that point because like someone hyping me up at that level was unpredictable for
I
me.
know.
And I was like, that's so cool. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll put in my entire effort into this MUN.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really nice. Like I met a lot of people, I made new friends and all. I had a really huge connection with all of those people, right? And after this point, I was like, cool. So now that I've attended an MUN, I've spoken to our school, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was in Chinmay at that point, and I was like, why don't we host an MUN in our school? Because our school outside is just like puja and study. I have
Got it.
not heard anything about our school apart from that.
Very true.
And then they're like, okay, cool. So how do you want to do it? I was like, this is the budget, this is the expense, and this is the kind of batch we're looking for. We're looking for about 300, 400 people trying to attend the conference, out of which probably we'd have like a turnover of 150, 200. And since it's a school, all of our expenses are very low. And
Mm-hmm.
our principal at that point was from a Narayana school. So that guy had this bad notion about MUNs being a drug party or like a sex party, right? So that guy was like, no.
Oh my
Like,
god.
no, ante no. I was like, what is wrong with this guy? I am giving him a golden opportunity to change the image of his school and he's not ready to take it. I was like, cool, if this guy doesn't take it, I'll take it outside. So during my 10th grade, I had this friend called Abhijit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So Abhijit and I were classmates during our Fiji time, like during the whole Fiji training period for IIT. We were classmates and we grew really tight, okay, at that point. And I spoke to Abhijit. I was like, Abhijit was into MUNs. Like he was
Okay.
on the other side debating. So I was like, Abhijit, why don't we start an MUN? Abhijit was also pumped. Abhijit was like, yeah, we'll do this and all. And then we started planning shit out and everything happened. But then the only problem with us at that point was we were super inexperienced. Abhijit had done one MUN as a debater, like as a delegate, and I had done an MUN as a photographer.
Got
So we
it.
really don't know the back end of how things work. But I really wanted to host one because I was like, if a school can host it, why can't I host it? All I need is money, right? If money is the problem,
Very
we can
true.
figure something out. Yeah, so I was like, cool, we'll do something. And then we brought in a couple of people. Vidhi was a part of it at that point. The girl who hyped me up during
Yeah.
Reddy MUN, she was a part of the team and all. And we started this thing called 1 month. So 1 month was the first privatized student hosted MUN in Hyderabad at that point. And we hosted it on such a scale that I don't think any institution or any other private MUN that was hosted was so lavish.
Very
Like,
true.
I've
Very
not seen
true.
an MUN. Yeah, I've not seen an MUN being hosted at Trident Hotel again in my life. That was the first and last event that was ever hosted. And I think we spent about like 9 lakhs in total to host
Mm-hmm.
that conference during my 10th grade.
Got it.
Handling such a big project was obviously like a prestige kind of thing for me.
Obviously
So, like, if
insane.
anyone asked me what I did, yeah. So, if anyone asked me what I did, I used to be like, yeah, I hosted events. So, I'm like really cool and all. And I made a lot of friends that way. People were in line to be my friend and all. Because obviously, who wouldn't want to be a friend of someone who hosted such a huge conference and all?
Got it. Yeah.
So, yeah, in the end, I had some issues with the whole organizing committee, like how things were running. And I had some differences with them. So, I quit 1 month. And I was pushed into 11th grade, right? So, the exponential part where, I was cut off from the outside world. I didn't know what was happening. And all of this happened, and I was like, cool, I want to host another MUN, but this time I want to be in complete charge of it because I know what happened, like what the back end of a conference is. So I picked up the same team again, like a couple of them, I pinged them, and then they were like, no, we're going to stick with 1 month because we really like it. And honestly, I don't know if you have the capacity to host another MUN because you're not that experienced and all. So I was like, experience doesn't really count because I'm not going to debate. I'm just going to host it. I'm giving you a platform. You bring in people, and then we host a conference, right? So all of this happened, and then during my 12th grade, I was grounded. Okay, so I didn't have a phone, I didn't have internet, I didn't have anything apart from educational purposes.
Got
Somehow
it.
I managed. Okay, like I started talking to people. I used to meet them at my place, and then once a week I used to sneak out of the house and then have this meeting for the new conference. And so all of this happened where we didn't have a sponsor. Okay, so the first
Mm-hmm.
MUN that I did was a loss,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like,
How
cool. I
how
don't want it
much
to be
was
a
it?
loss this time.
How much loss was it?
So everyone chipped in about 10K, and we were like 9 people, so it was a 90K loss. But we still
Okay.
raised about like 8.1 lakhs, so that was pretty satisfying for us. Like,
How
cool,
did you
next
raise
time
that
then,
amount?
probably.
Sponsors.
I asked my parents. No, no, okay, the 8.1 lakhs were from the delegates. We charged about 3,500 for each delegate
Then how did you
to how
lose?
many of our
Then
delegates we
how did
got.
you lose your money?
Okay, so with hotels, it's a contract, right?
Okay.
You make a contract with them. You tell them that you need these many plates being served on 3 particular days. And we did that. We didn't get enough people. Like, it was an estimate for us. We didn't know if actually people would turn up or not. We gave an estimate of 300 or some number. And then they were like, yeah, this is going to be your total charge. And we were like, cool, we'll pull in people. And then we tried our best. And then it came up to like 8.1 lakh or like probably 8 lakhs. Not sure. I don't remember the numbers
How,
exactly. But then
how
I chipped in 10K.
why would you book a place without checking with the food?
No, the food is fine. Like, everything's good.
I
Okay.
mean,
The
the
problem was,
pricing. Acha, people started taking more
no, the
plates.
pricing is, people
Okay.
didn't participate as we anticipated. Like, we anticipated a number of 300, and we only gotten about 280 or 250 or something.
But they
Like, or
participated more
200.
with the plates.
No, that's not the thing, right? Like, I needed 300 people. If
Okay.
the conference had 300 people, the hotel would only charge me for 300 people.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you tell 300 and you get a lower number, they'd still charge you for the upper number, like whatever you initially
Yeah.
promised them. Because they would have made food for 300 people, right? So we didn't know like how many people to call because it was our first conference. And we saw at Open Radio Union that there were like 500 people. I was like, that's super high. for an expectation for a first conference. Let's stick with 300.
Mm-hmm.
And we tried raising 300. It wasn't possible. Like, people won't be ready to pay a student of your age again 3,500 for 3 days just to like have a really nice MUN.
True.
They'd rather go for a school which charges about like $1,000 for 3 days. Because it's the same thing. At the end of the day, your certificate is what matters for them, right?
True.
So we were like, cool, we'll do something and then we'll figure it out. And during my 12th grade, after I parted from 1 month, I was like, I need to start a new MUN. And since we were in Excellencia, I spoke to the director of Excellencia. He was very open to the idea. But then since I got chucked out of this college, I was like, screw you. Why would I host it on your name? I'd host it on some other name. And I was like, cool. So this MUN is going to be called X1,
I remember.
not
Uh,
EX.
I was part of X1.
Yeah. So, no, you were a volunteer, right?
Yeah, so
You were
at
not the
least.
organizing
So
committee.
what? I was still
No,
part of X1.
no, there was a lot before, like, you guys came in, okay? So,
Okay.
like, there was 6 months of drama before X1 was actually established.
Mm-hmm.
So, during those 6 months, it was first called EX1, okay? EX1 sounded really bad because EX, there was a hyphen and then there was a MUN.
Okay.
So, obviously, it sounds bad. X1, like, who's X? X for which one? And all of that. And we named it that way because Excellencia EX were the
Got
first
it.
two
Got
words.
it.
And I was like, cool. Now I can't name it that, but I want to have something really cool and something intriguing. So I was like, let's name it X1. X. And a lot of people asked me why X1, like what X1 and all. And I was like, cool, I'll tell you at some point. Let me think about an answer. Obviously, I didn't tell them I'll think about an answer. I was like, it's a secret.
So you didn't know.
That hype, yeah, I didn't know. Like, obviously, what did I tell for X stuff? The X has like
Obvious.
limited number of words on top of that, something that's related to an MUN. It's really hard to find. So I was like, cool, it's a secret. It's only known for the inside members. So I had a meeting with the organizing committee and I was like, guys, everyone's asking me what X1 means. I don't have an answer. So I told them it's a secret and I expect you all to do the same. So they were like, yeah, okay, we don't know what to tell you, this, so we'll tell the same thing. It's a secret. But then we had to raise money, right? So we need a sponsor because
Mm-hmm.
last time we had to put in our own money. So to have like a cushion for certain amount of limit, like where like you don't start spending your money, but then
Got
even if
it.
there's a deficit in delegate number, you'll use someone else's money and then you'll give them some perks. So what we did was we started looking out for sponsors, and everyone was like, "What does X mean?" I didn't have an answer. So during one of my sponsorship meetings, I was like, "So X goes like this, right? X has a lot of meanings. First, it means multiply, and X also means like when you mark a treasure, at some point you mark it with X, and you don't mark it
Got
with
it.
any other letters because it's precious." And that's what our MUN is. It's very precious to all of our attendees and to us
Nice.
and to our sponsors. So this was like very spontaneous at that point, okay?
That's a good
And
one.
all this happened. Yeah. And he was like, okay, cool. So what do you mean multiply? Because I said multiply in the first place.
Yes.
Math brain. What more could I think? X means multiply, right? So he was like, what does multiply mean? I was like, multiply talent. We give them a platform where, people can multiply their talent, put it out there, get new people, meeting them, like increase their talent base and all. And they were like really impressed with the explanation and all. So they gave us a small sponsorship for 40,000.
That's
So that was really
awesome.
lucky for us. Yeah, that was really lucky for us. Like if I didn't get the idea spontaneously, I don't think I would have like really made some money out of that thing. And then we had X11, and after that we had X1 2.0 and the third part of X1. So one of our executive board members came in from Lucknow, right?
Okay.
So that person was like, you are a really good organizer. I want you as an executive advisor for our MUN in Lucknow.
Okay.
And at this point, this MUN is being, the Lucknow MUN was being held by one of the most prestigious people I've ever known. So, Akhilesh Yadav, right? The Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh at one
I
point.
don't
He
know.
was the Chief
I did
Minister.
not know.
So that guy was, yeah, okay. So that guy was the Chief Minister at one point and his daughter was hosting the MUN.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, why should I ditch this opportunity? Because I am never going to meet someone's chief minister's daughter or something, some state's chief minister's
Got
daughter.
it.
I might as well make a good connection out of this MUN. So I was like, cool. And the kind of perks they gave me were like they'd pay for my travel all the way to Lucknow,
Mm-hmm.
right, two-way, and they'd pay for my stay. They gave me a stay at Marriott Fairfield in Lucknow,
That's
and
awesome.
all the perks were included. Like whatever my expense was for those 3 days, they took care of all of it. On top of that, I had compensation of 5,000 rupees. Like all these perks, including my compensation, they spent about like 50K on me alone. So that was like really like a very proud
Big
moment
thing.
for me. And when I told, yeah, it was a very big thing for me. And I told my parents, I was like, see, you've told me that nothing good comes out of hosting an MUN. But then I'm being called out to a conference in Lucknow just to advise them. How good
Yeah,
is that?
mom.
And then they
Money
were
is
like really
flowing at
proud
me
of
and
me.
they're giving me
Yeah,
perks for nothing.
yeah, exactly. So I was like, all of this has happened, and you're telling me that MUNs had no significance in my life. And then they were like, yeah, we're really proud of you at this point because you're earning money. The only thing was you make money and then you're in the upper leagues.
Got it.
So that's when reality bitch slapped me. And I thought I had to change the way I live. Like MUNs and all, they were really nice for, like education wise and all. Like when I was 18 and all, during my 11th and 12th grade, it was fine. Like it was really good money. Like, what would I do with 5,000 rupees in my pocket? Right? I
I
just
know.
saved it. And all of this was kind of starting to hit me in reality. So I was like, what kind of lifestyle do I lead right now? How much would it cost me to maintain the same lifestyle ahead in future? So I calculated that, and then I realized that my mom spends about a lakh on every month for expenses, like all expenses, rent, whatever. If I had to calculate, if the place
Mm-hmm.
wasn't mine and I had to live outside, cost me a lakh per month. So that means I have to earn annually 12 lakhs post my income tax just to
Got
beat
it.
my how do I say expenses. So when I calculated all of this, I was like, I am never gonna earn 12 lakhs. What is wrong with people? Because even with the kind of salaries they gave for engineering and everything, I think a really good graduate from a really good college would probably end up earning 8 to 10 lakhs.
I mean,
So that's the
again,
kind of
that's
world.
the thing. There are only few exceptional people who get insane amount of
Yeah,
packages.
yeah.
So
So all of these 50
yeah,
crore,
it doesn't
sorry,
make
50
any
lakhs and
sense.
all of those. Yeah, I was like, cool. Even if I pursue engineering, what is the whole point? Like, I won't be making as much to sustain my current lifestyle, and I
Mm-hmm.
can't go back in time, like to
That's
a lower
true.
lifestyle, because that's not who we are. We don't adapt to a lower thing. We only look for the next best thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool. I'm gonna start learning new things. And on my journey at this point, I am starting my engineering life. Okay. So during my 12th, I gave my boards. I had really nice scores, and my entrance exam started and all. And then happened IITs and everything, and I was like, screw IIT. I'm never gonna get into an IIT. And the kind of effort that is required and the kind of return that you get is also not proportionally equal. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's not even like matching. Like someone who's graduating from IIT is probably going to earn the same amount of money that I'm going to earn. Why do I have to put in
Very
so much
true.
effort for something that, yeah, so why do I have to put in so much effort for something that I don't even like? That was me. That was my idea at that point.